Hello and welcome back to the Cascade Subdivision. We are here January 2022 for another update and a lot to talk about, as you can kind of see in this opening shot. I do apologize, I do not have my tripod with me today, and so the video might be a little shaky, but let's get started with some updates on weathering. So first up right here is this Canadian Pacific Athen Genesis ES44AC. I completed this weathering this fall and finally have been able to get it running on the layout. It's a great running locomotive. It sounds great. It's got a Tsunami 2 sound decoder in it and a great speaker. So really excited to have this all weathered and running on the layout. Now moving to some freight cars that I recently finished this fall as well. We've got this another Athearn car, this Denver, Rio Grande, and Western hopper here. I tried some new techniques, a lot of work with artist oils, as you can see some of the streaking there, and really excited to have this car on the layout just as a to extend some of the trains. Just a solid gray weathered car. Can never have too many in the modern era. Moving on with more weathering. This is a new car, or a new run of the Reefers by Athen. Pretty simple weathering job on this, just a simple acrylic wash, some graffiti decals, and some rust streaking. Nothing new here in Oak Ridge, but on the fascia for operations I did add this pen holder. This is just a piece of molding, or pre-cut molding I got at Menards, and then just clamped it and glued it to the fascia. Nice spot to put coupling picks and pens, and it was really helpful yesterday in our operating session to kind of just keep things off of the surface of the layout. Let's move over here a little bit and talk about some new equipment. I was gifted this Kansas City Southern ES44 AC. This is a Scale Trains unit from their first release. It's a non-sound, so I've got a Digitrax mobile decoder in there, and it runs really well. So excited about this model and getting it weathered here in a little bit. And then two new freight cars. I've got a Walthers mainline center beam, again, a model that was just came out, or I should say a new run of a previously released model. So looking forward to getting that weathered. It's looking a little bright blue right now. And then another Athen Gunderson 60-foot high cube boxcar. This is in their prime for grime, so I'm looking forward to using that as a nice canvas to start further weathering. And then going back to some more weathering projects I did this fall. These are all 50-foot Athen prime for grime boxcars. Got this BKTY car here. Just my typical methods, mainly with acrylics. This one is actually for sale on eBay. I will post the link in the description. And then these two here, I'm going to be keeping for myself. These faded rail boxes, both prime for grime, so the factory paint includes the faded rail box logos and lettering and everything, but I did add all of the grime and rust and details that you can see there. So excited to have these running on the layout. Just need to switch out some of the couplers, or just couplers on this one here, 52 to 37, and then both cars need added weight. As most know, I do add weight to my freight cars. It just improves running here on the layout, and some of the physics of the model work a little bit better. You get rid of that wobble as it goes through bad track, and tend to have fewer derailments with added weight. And then finally, in terms of new acquisitions, here are some Kato superliner, well, 2 superliners and a baggage car. All were gifts, and this transition car here was given to me by a good friend, good model railroading friend. I'm doing some weathering for him, and so really thankful for that, and excited now to have a full Amtrak train. I think I've got 2 locomotives and 6 of the baggage car and 6 superliners, so it looks really good running on the layout. So that is the long and short of it in terms of weathering. Being away from the layout, I've been able to get some weathering done, and coming up this spring, I will also be tackling some more weathering projects, probably this Kansas City Southern locomotive and a few other projects that I've got in mind. So let's turn to the layout, and we're going to go right above here, and this is in the section between fields and the upper level. Continuing scenery here, I had Cam Neely of Railfan 220 or 220, however you want to say it, of YouTube fame. He was over here for the past 3 days, and he helped me tackle some of these projects, mainly the tunnel liners. And so these are made out of just pink insulation foam, 2-inch. He made a template and then cut them with a hot wire foam knife or cutter, whatever you want to call it, and glued them together, sanded the insides. They look really great. I think it'll be a pretty easy project to paint the insides of those, and then he mounted them with these, it's almost like a cardboard spline, and it's all just hot glued together. Provides great support, and I'll come in and fill those in before I ballast and get the track painted and everything. So we did this short section of lattice here, which kind of starts the mountain scenery. Here's another one of those liners for tunnel 15, I believe. And we tied that into some work he had previously done in fields for the lattice. So this is all looking really good now, and it's a great place for me to continue this next week, working on the terrain. Hopefully I can get most, if not all, of this covered in the paper. And then here's the other, bumped my elbow there. Here's the other tunnel liner he did, and I just have a little bit more work with foam to do to put the portal in, and before I can finish up the lattice there. And so that is what we worked on in terms of terrain. Here's a train that we had going in the op session, just sitting here in fields. Got tied up here towards the end. Now turning to some more construction. Looking up above, I have finally completed all of the fascia, and it is nearly ready for paint. Spliced this piece in here, and just smoothing out the joints. There's quite some complex fascia work on the layout. Let me see if I can get into a good position here, just with all the curves and the different levels. And then Cam helped me with this big piece. It's almost 8 feet long, that covers the helix. So really divides the room now, and we can walk around to the side here. Let me spin into position. You can see where that joins to the previous fascia work up top. There'll be a tunnel on the upper level, and then down here there's a series of tunnels that we had to cut out, and so there'll be a portal right there. I did add some LED lights to that scene, as well as continue the LED lights here in Wikipede. There'll be a tunnel there. So really grateful for his help in getting all of this together. The only lights I still have to add are up here in fields. The unfortunate part is that the lights that I used are all back ordered, and so just gonna have to keep an eye out for those and wait for them to come in stock when they do, and hopefully be able to get enough to install all of the lights in field, and then we'll be done with the lighting on the layout. But probably tonight or tomorrow I'll be able to get the fascia painted. Also, you can see near the entrance there, I've got some of the fascia as well. And later this week, just continue working on some terrain and scenery. I'm gonna return to working down here in Oak Ridge where I left off in the summer. Got some more trees to build for this hillside. It'd be really great to have this area all complete. And then looking here in Oak Ridge to try and complete some of the ballast work that I started as well. Another thing you might have noticed is I cleaned out the layout room for the operating session we had yesterday. We took everything out of the room and it looks absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, everything has to come back in, but for now I'm going to bask in the glory of it, so to say, of having a clean layout room, and just use the clutter-free space to get some work done this week and continue to make progress on the layout. So probably another update here in the next week or so, documenting what I get done. But stay tuned. Happy 2022 to everybody, and happy modeling. Thanks for tuning in.